Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now, about a year ago, I did a review on this Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Well, I've got a little secret to tell you. That was actually my sister's car. Well, the other day, she has just bought this. A 2016 BMW 218D. For those who watched my previous video on me doing some work on my Mercedes, this BMW should be no surprise as it actually makes a cameo appearance in the background towards the end. Well done to those who spotted it, but now back to the main video. And I'm going to see through a series of tests whether she made the right decision or not. But first, there's something I want to address. Now, last year I did a series of videos on my BMW 2 Series, and it's exactly the same as this. So I feel like now we should do like a sort of comparison between the two, see which ones are different or not. Now we'll start at the front, and straight away, I believe the front bumper is different to my one. I believe this is the facelift version of the 2 Series. I say I believe because the facelift version came out in 2017, and this is a late 2016 car. Um, so I'm not entirely sure if it is. I say I'm not entirely sure because there's really not that much difference between the two. You know, I'll put a picture on the comparison between a pre-facelift and a facelift F22 2 Series. Okay, looking at this photo, you can clearly see that this 2 Series that we're looking at is facelift version. See for yourself, really. So that's pretty much it from the front. Now we come around to the side. Again, it's pretty generic as a 2 Series. Not that there's no real difference between this and my one. The only differences I've spotted is the wheels. The wheels are very different to my one. Mine were black, and to be honest with you, I don't really know how to describe the difference between these and my ones, but I'll do a picture to show you guys the difference between them. Now, when we come around to the rear, now my sister's, she's very lucky. She has this rear spoiler, and it's really cool. I wish my one had that. And also, she has like this sort of two-toneness between the white and the black. My one didn't. Mine was just grey throughout. But yeah, that's pretty much the differences that I've spotted on the exterior of the car. Now we'll have a quick look at the interior. Now inside is pretty much exactly the same as my old one, but in the center console and in the doors, you've got this sort of fake carbonness about it, and it just looks so cool. In my one, it was just basically plastic, and it just looks so boring in comparison. I much prefer this here. Another thing I feel like that's different, I feel like the center screen here is a lot shorter but a lot wider than mine. My one was a bit narrower but taller. No real difference in terms of the actual UI, but when you put it into reverse, the reversing radar is upgraded here. The graphics are so much clearer and stronger. I think in my one you got like an old system, but yeah, it's much better here. I much prefer this one, much better. The seats are also different here. You got these sort of patterned in them. I don't really know how to describe them, what patterns they are, but they are much better, much different. My ones were just plain boring blue. So that's pretty much the comparison between this 2 Series and my original 2 Series. But now we shall see which car is better, the BMW or the Alfa, through a series of tests. I absolutely love the exterior of this car. When I did my initial review, people absolutely loved the way this car looked. You know, I love these sort of individual LEDs. I love how it looks like the 8C supercar. I love the front grills. We come around to the side. I said at the time, I absolutely love this sort of comet-shaped side repeater. I love the door handles. You know, you have any idea how many people commented saying they love the door handles up here? It's crazy. Then we come around to the rear section of the car. Sorry, it's a bit dirty. We'll cut that out. You know, again, I just love these individual sort of LEDs. I love how these bits are orange. They could just done it red, very boring looking, but it's just so desirable. So attention to detail is insane. And I love the two twin exhausts. I love those. It's just a very good looking car. Now we come around to the BMW. We'll cut this bit out. It's a very good looking car. It's a very posh looking car, but it's very generic looking as a BMW. There's no real sort of excitement to it. There's no like side vents and something like that. You have to go for the more expensive M2 for that. But yeah, still not a bad looking car. I like it, but I feel like there's no sort of, it's very dramatic, let's say. The only real thing I like about the rear end is the rear spoiler. That's really good looking. Yeah, that's pretty much it really. Both cars have a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel engine. The BMW produces this much horsepower, and the Alfa Romeo produces this much horsepower. The BMW's is longitudinally positioned, which is where a car should be, whereas the Alfa Romeo's is transversely positioned, which means it's front-wheel drive, as opposed to BMW rear-wheel drive. And now we get into the interiors of the cars, and I have to say, this Alfa Romeo's interior is stunning, especially for a 2010 car. The dashboard here is just so funky, and this front big panel piece, I've no idea what it is, but it just looks so good, and it doesn't feel like plastic. I've no idea if it actually is plastic, but it just looks great. And like these big dials down here, they're so easy to use, and I don't know, they just feel so premium. Like I know this isn't like a Mercedes or anything or Bentley, but it feels so much different from like a Peugeot or a Renault or Citroen or anything like that. It really separates it from the rest of the competition. And but these buttons up here, they remind me of something for Nissan GTR. And this is only a Giulietta hatchback. The seats as well are just as impressive. They have these Alfa Romeo logos imprinted in them. I love the red stitching into the leather, and these grooves in the middle. I have no idea what they're for, but they just look so good, and they just make the car feel so special. I can't really put my finger on it. I just love it so much. Now I do have a few issues. Number one, I don't really get this armrest. It's just a bit awkward, to be honest with you, and the steering wheel seems a bit small for me. Maybe I'm just a big cars. You of course get Alfa Romeo's DNA system, which is its drive mode selector system. DNA stands for dynamic, which is its sport mode, natural, which is of course comfort, and all weather, which is more grip. To put the car into reverse, you need to lift up a small lever underneath the gear knob, slide it to the left, and then up. Now, the space in the back, to be honest with you guys, isn't the best, but you've definitely had worse. People which are over 6 foot, such as myself, when you look straight, the curvature of the car will bend your head sideways, and it's not much better when you're sitting in the middle either. The good news is the legroom is actually pretty decent for a hatchback of this size. One issue that I seem to have found is that you don't have an armrest in the middle for some reason. I don't know why. That is a 350-litre boot capacity. The only problem I have is that the lip of the boot is actually quite high. That means it's quite difficult to pick up a heavy load and put it into the back of the car. However, you do have some small storage facility units on each side of the boot in case if you want to store something that you don't want rolling across the floor, like wine bottles, for instance. Now, the interior of the BMW, we're not going to go over it in too much detail because we've already gone over that earlier on in the video when I was comparing it to my 2 series, so we're not going to tread over old ground to speak. But in comparison to the Alpha, I would definitely say that the interior here is a lot more clinical. I would say like all the buttons are very square and kind of samey. Like in the Alpha, I said I really loved how there were those really big chunky buttons, and then up above you had those Nissan GTR style buttons. Whereas here, you know, like I said, it's all boring and black and square, which it doesn't mean it's bad, but it just makes it very uncharismatic to say. I still like it though. Like, you know, it still looks very modern even for a 10-year-old car. And for those who are well acquainted with BMWs, you know what to expect here. I'm not 100% confident, but I'm pretty sure it's actually exactly the same as the 1 Series, but don't hold me to that. Now, although the interior feels a lot more formal in comparison to the Alfa Romeo we looked at earlier, I would also say it does feel a lot more premium as well. Like this carbonness, I know we mentioned it earlier, it's fake, but it just looks cool and it makes it feel like it's more of an M car, which well, it's obviously not, but it just feels like it is. You know, if you blindfolded someone and put them in here, they would think this is like an M car. Just like the Alpha, you do get a driver select mode as well, where you can go from comfort to sport mode, which makes the car fast, into sport plus, which makes it even faster. The steering wheel is proportionate to the size of the car, but I absolutely love this metallic silver piece we see at the bottom. I didn't get any footage of this, But this car actually has inbuilt sat-nav, which appears on the heads-up display. This is something that the Alfa Romeo nor my BMW had. To get the car into reverse, you simply just push left and then up. In the back, people over 6 foot will definitely struggle. Much like the Alfa, there is very little headroom, and I would also say the Alfa has more legroom as well. But being a coupe, you would expect that. And another thing, just before we go, in the back of the Alfa, you could manage to get 3 seats. Here, you've only got the 2. And there's still no armrest here either. Now, earlier, I said that the Alfa Romeo has a boot capacity of 350 litres, whereas the BMW has a boot capacity of 390 litres. And it looks like the lip is not as high as it is on the Alfa Romeo, which means heavier loads are easier to put into the boot. And now we get to the keys. The BMW has a far more modern and sophisticated keyless ignition fob, whereas the Alfa Romeo has something far more traditional. And now we shall see how fun they are to drive. The Alfa which I'm driving now, in 2 words, it's very good. Technically 3 words if you want to be pedantic, but there you go. It's very fast and agile and light on its feet, and it goes around corners really well, as you can imagine. Pretty maneuverable too, you know. Easy to park. It's very fun around corners. The throttle response from a standstill isn't the best, but once you get going, it's very good. And like I say, because the wheelbase is quite short, it's just so fun. You have so much confidence to throw it around a corner and you'd be okay coming out of it. The ride, in terms of comfortability, isn't the worst. It's not the best. It's no Rolls Royce, but it's a lot better than I don't know what's really bad, right? But it's a lot better than what you get on. But it's a lot better than what you get on like a racing car. What I will say is, I feel like the road noise in here is not as good as the BMWs, to be honest with you. I don't think you guys have seen it yet, but yeah, there's that. The BMW is a lot quieter. The engine noise, the wind noise, the road noise, it's a lot quieter in the BMW compared to this. But it is still not awful, to be honest with you. 0 to 60 in 9 seconds, so it's a pretty fun car, to be honest with you. I like it a lot. Sounds pretty good for a diesel too, you know. It's currently 8:30 on the 17th of March, and the new owners are coming to collect this car at 10:30. So this will be the last time you really see this car. Quite a sad moment, really. You know, we've had this car for so long, about 4 years. It's my sister's second car, and yeah, I really like it. Gonna miss the old girl. Well, now it's time to hop out of the Alfa and into the BMW. Now, when I drove the Alfa, I said that it was a fantastic car to drive, and it is. But this is much better. 0 to 60 is 8.6 seconds. Now, that may not sound like much of an improvement compared to the Alfa, because I did it in 9 seconds, if you remember correctly. But it just feels so much faster. Much faster than the Alfa. Much faster. It also feels quieter too, and much smoother on the roads. But then it would be, considering it's 5.5 years younger. So good. Yeah, I much prefer this to the Alfa. The Alfa's good, don't get me wrong, but this is another league. If the Alfa Romeo was Burnley, this would be Newcastle United. It's so fun through the corners as well. Yeah. Now, I said the Alfa was good through the corners, but this thing is just as good. If not better, even. The clutch is insane. The gears are so much smoother. It's just, as a driver's car, this is so much better. So the BMW is definitely the faster, more exciting car, while the Alfa is better looking and more practical. And I think that brings us on to our conclusion. Just before we get to our final conclusion, guys, I thought it would be quite fun just to compare the two cars side by side, starting off with top speed. As you can see, pretty similar, both around the 130 miles an hour mark. MPG, again, both are pretty similar, both around that 60. Both cars weigh pretty much the same as well. Both cars have a 5-star safety rating in the Euro NCAP ratings, and both have 6-speed manual transmissions. Also, just before we get to our final conclusion, I just want to point out that both cars cost around the same to tax and are likely around the same to insure. I did mention the 0 to 60 times and the BHP these two cars produced earlier on in the video, but you know what they say.
If you can't keep up, don't step up, you'll just die.
Choosing between these two cars is really tough because one is a spicy Italian meatball full of character, whereas the other one is a German sausage which oozes posy poshness. And now I've got to choose which one I drive home in. Here goes. I bet you weren't expecting that. Right.